Are you ready? You think you can tell us what to do? You think you can tell us what to wear? You think that you're better? Well, you better get ready. Bow to the masters. Bring the world!
Welcome, Ontario, Canada. I don't know why I said that. It always seems exciting. We are live from Tom's Production Studio right here, 216 Creator Studios. Let me tell you something, brother. The most entertainment and the most entertaining hour you're going to find on any Sunday night right here from 8 to 9. Of course, brought to you through the financial support of our good friends over at Tom's Productions. You think it, he'll ink it. You got, you want your name on something, a lunchbox perhaps, maybe just a Slim Jim. He'll put it on. Trust him. He can do it. Tom's Productions. Check him out at tomsproductions.com.
It have to be a Jim Slim. I can't do a Slim.
Oh, yeah, Jim Slim. Sorry. I apologize about that. And you know what? Just like we imagined, yes, Tom's right again, and we'll fill you in as the show goes on. Welcome in, guys.
Oh, happy belated Valentine's Day.
Oh, yeah.
Or I'm sorry, Greg the Hammer Valentine's Day.
The Greg the Hammer.
Here's the. Hopefully, you guys got hammered on Friday. I did not.
No, I didn't. I don't celebrate the I don't celebrate VD.
Oh,
yeah.
I was very fortunate. I was. We had our kids' basketball game on Woodstock, and right when I left, I was behind a plow from Route 47 all the way to 31.
So he didn't.
That was like plowed. Perfect. So I didn't even get plowed.
You didn't.
Well, yeah.
You know, no. Megan had work, so.
All right. All right, beautiful.
Oh, yeah. All right. So, should we get into the nitty gritty?
Good stuff, huh?
Start with Monday Night Raw this past week. Yeah. All right. So, Monday Night Raw started with 15, 20 minutes of yeeting.
Yeeting. One more time.
No.
They said just one more time.
Oh, it's going to be all the way to WrestleMania.
Yeah. Yeetamania, whatever they're going to call it. And
so, and then he got up on the table, still undefeated.
Yes.
I mean, it kind of messed up JD a couple weeks ago. I mean, he was still out.
I think that's the issue.
I think that is the issue.
I need the breakaway table to help with wrestlers' health. But yeah, I mean, for me, it's just like watching this going on. I bet it's great for the fan experience.
Yeah.
But watching it on TV, watching it on Netflix, whether you're watching it live or next day after it's streaming, it is like, I'm just going to wait now for an hour after Raw starts before I play it so I can fast forward it.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge main event fan, but it's just like enough's enough. I mean, I get it. It's
you just quoted Owen Hart right there.
One heart, not the right heart yet.
Not yet. Owen,
not the other one. But it's just getting tiresome. I mean, it's great. Like, I love watching it, and the kids will like get into it. But it's like, all right, I'm here to watch. I want to see some wrestling. I'm tired of these 15, 20-minute intros to the first punch is landed at 25. You know, halfway through the 25-minute mark.
It's like they're going back to the old blueprint of 20, 30 minutes of talking, and then maybe a match.
Yeah,
but then usually some type of conflict.
Well, so I didn't watch it live, right? And I turn it on, and I literally had to stop it and go back and make sure I wasn't watching the week before because it was the exact same open. I was just like, what?
There's a few things, and again, Tom and I spoke before, I'll piggyback off what you just said is not only in the beginnings, but the endings are very similar. from the weeks prior. But the one thing that does, when you click on it on Netflix time, when you wait the hour, just so you know, it's going to go to live automatically. It's not going to start from the beginning.
Yeah,
There's no
that's
setting
what
that
sucks.
you can do where it's like, hey, always start from the beginning. So you'll have to actually press down on the arrow key, and then go start from beginning.
Yeah.
Because like I started this week's maybe like 30 minutes in, and it was what match? Anyway. But I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like I thought it started right away into the match. Nope. I had to go back to the beginning. I was like, oh, we're doing yeeting for 15 minutes. That's where it started.
Because I watched it live. I started watching it live, and then that's where I'm getting the commercials. I'm like, okay, this is crap. I'm going to go do something around the office. It's going to take half hour, 40 minutes, and then come back. And
what office were you at?
Tom's production studio.
Oh, there you go.
Right here. So
right next door.
Right next
high
door.
atop
High
the
atop.
Tom's production.
So
towers.
and I'm like, so I go back, turn on, then
Tom Towers.
So what annoyed me is when I paused it,
Yeah.
or when I stopped it, and went back to go watch it, it didn't continue where I left off.
Right.
Yeah.
It went straight back to live.
Yeah.
And then I had to go back to start from beginning and then fast forward to where I was at.
That's why I'm enjoying it on a Tuesday or a Wednesday.
I think we're going to continue to see that.
Yeah.
Because did you have any commercials when you watched it?
No.
Nope.
That's why I like it.
And that's where it's like, I think a lot of fans are going to catch on to it.
Yeah.
Because now, especially with their current formula, how they're broadcasting it, I think people would actually stop watching it entirely. And I think this is now a time for AEW to step up and have a Monday night show.
Yeah.
On TNT.
Yeah. If they were to do that, big ratings.
Yeah. So our stuff that happened on Raw after the Yeet Mania, we get like the official Gunther is getting Jay's challenge acceptance at WrestleMania. So now we'll get probably night one of everyone yeeting.
Yeah.
Would be my guess.
Yeah, and haven't we seen this match once, twice, 3 times?
had
Yeah,
Kofi.
but again, it's the same. If you remember in years past, you had Miz and Dolph Ziggler did the same thing. They went a couple rounds, and then all of a sudden Dolph won it, and it was, the celebration that it was. I mean, I think Jay can beat him. I think it's what's going to happen. We could talk about that on the prediction show later on in the year. But again, it's predictable. I mean, these last couple weeks,
especially being corporate now.
It's as we've said before. I mean, that's exactly why. I mean, the 216 belts haven't left right here, because it is very predictable.
The guys that had the other show that don't want to challenge for them won't even chime in anymore because they get it wrong, and
which is hilarious because, I mean, unless they're clearly watching, thinking they're watching the right show and they're watching 2 weeks prior. I mean, because everything's predictable right now. We called it a couple weeks ago that Jay was not going to challenge Cody because of the friendship, which is the same story arc they did with KO and Cody.
Yeah.
So
now they're doing it with KO and Sammy.
And Sammy, yeah.
Which they've done that storyline before.
How many times?
Too many.
Since the Ring of Honor days.
Yeah. And I get it. If you ride up and down the roads with somebody, you're going to have that great rapport with them. And doing the performances with your friends is great. But it's okay, you guys got to build some new talent. You got to build something and inject something. NXT, I don't even think it's on our notes here.
So I have NXT on there.
Okay. I mean, what they introduced at their premium live event or whatever you want to call it, they introduced the Shield 2.0.
Pretty much.
And they came out with the same masks, like the Brock Lesnar-esque Beast and Carnage mask. It's wow, Triple H, you can't even think of a new mask.
Yeah, where's your creative team?
He doesn't have one.
No, and that's been a problem for a while now.
Yeah.
And that's where I think what he needs to get certain people, this is your spot. You're now in charge of the tag team division.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that too later in the show about the recent releases. And
well, here's my question then. And you've brought this up before, Tom, is this the swan song for Triple H? Is the Hall of Fame him being, I would say, the headliner of the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Is this is that swan, this is the Rock and TKO being hey, thank you for your years of service, get out?
I think possibly by the end of this year.
Okay.
if not sooner.
Do you think that gets extended if Vince McMahon announces the hub, as he calls it, because it's not a network, it's a hub, and kind of makes an actual waves this year with like a name, a brand, a logo, or something? Do you think they hold on to Triple H with TKO just because potentially him going to Vince McMahon's new?
I would not rule Vince coming back.
Really? Okay.
Especially now with the last allegations being rescinded by the FBI probe.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's just the unpaid prostitute he's got to deal with right now. And once that goes away, because him and Rock's family have had a great relationship.
Yeah.
And I can see that that's one of the reasons why Rock's in charge is he's his way back in.
Okay. Well, then my question then says,
But he's 925 years old.
You know that T-Rex that's in his office is actually the side picture of his skull, right?
Right.
I'm just saying, The Rock is very loyal to those that have been good to him, and he does not forget anyone who's ever
Oh
wronged
my
him.
God, that's who he looks like to me. He looks like Bowser from the 1992 Super Mario movie.
It's a live action.
Yeah,
Yeah.
live action.
Live
That's
action.
Vince McMahon right there.
Yeah, you're right. Without the mustache.
Without the mustache. Vince McMahon.
Yeah. But you, in all the same breath, he is a genius at this business and has the time off, given the old man enough time to get creative again. You know, I mean, there's no better promoter. There's no better.
He's the best to ever do it.
Best to ever do it. Simple as that.
I would say no, my personal opinion, because I think he's been focused on the whole
A lot of-
legal actions and
yeah.
stuff. I think if he had 2 years removed with nothing to do, I mean, how many more dentist characters would he create?
He was just waiting for his good friend, the Orange Guy.
I don't know. He had more of a thing for cowboys.
He did. That's true.
Everyone knows, like, always going to be a cowboy.
Yeah.
All right. So our stuff that happened on Raw. We've had like 2 of the same matches booked this week on Raw and SmackDown. They're Elimination Chamber qualifier matches. The first one on Raw was with Bayley and Valkyria. The other one was on SmackDown, where it was Naomi versus Chelsea Green. Chelsea and Valkyria are both the champions. One's the Intercontinental champion, the other one's the United States champion. They're booked in these matches and lose. It's like you have no value for that belt. You have no respect for it. They shouldn't even have been in the matches.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
But I also say that same thing. I don't think they should have been at the Rumble.
Right.
Like we said that on the last show.
If you have a title, you should not be.
I think champions, the only time champions should be involved in matches is a championship match or Clash of Champions.
No.
That's the only time that they should be on there, where it's multiple belts being defended or whatever. But
Or you're going head to head.
Yeah, you knew when someone came in the Rumble that they weren't going to win it if they had a belt, because they're not going to do Becky 2 belts again.
Hogan and Warrior again.
Yeah.
All right. Other stuff that happened on Raw. We had AJ Styles pretty much setting up a match versus Dirty Dom tomorrow night on Raw. We had the Creed brothers.
I mean, they booked the next week perfectly.
Yeah, they did a nice job there.
You know,
AJ's looking pretty good too, though. He doesn't look bad coming back.
he looks good.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
The Creed brothers versus the Viking Raiders or War Raiders, whatever they're called now. And then ended with probably Logan's worst match, I would say, to date, against Rey Mysterio as the other final qualifying chamber match.
So right now, the match tomorrow for the Elimination Chamber is Seth freaking Rollins versus Finn Balor.
Correct.
So right now, how the Elimination Chamber has kind of been going is, I'm going to call it heel Cena right now, because I mean, he demanded this. It's not like him.
Your battery's running.
Battery's
Battery's running low.
Uh-oh.
Pay that electric bill.
Oh, you know, it helps when you plug stuff in.
Well, it helps when we're running all these lights off generators.
That's
So right now, the Elimination Chamber for March 1st is set up this way. Like I said, heel Cena, Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul, Damian Priest, and the man that shall not be named.
yeah.
With that being said, those 5 guys, you can kind of already tell who's going to be, Finn Balor doesn't have a chance.
No, you already know it's Seth.
Right.
Like, and again, you're going to have Seth, Drew, and the man that should not be nameless is going to go at it. So really, to me, the only match that's there is Cena, Logan, and Damian.
Mm.
And those, you're going to have 2 separate matches going on at the same time. Everyone's going to beat up on Pepsi Boy. And then this is where I see Cena's going to get the win.
Right.
I've said it before. I mean, and it's the same thing even with...
You'll probably see Roman come out and cost Seth somehow. And that's where we could see the triple threat that's being rumored between Pepsi Boy, Seth, and Roman at Mania. Where somehow Pepsi Boy gets cost too because of all that.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't shock me if they booked that, but now...
The only thing shocking would be Damian winning.
Yeah, and I was very... Because even that qualifying match, it was...
You go to SmackDown.
Jacob, Damian, and Braun.
And they showed the stupid Raw rating or 2K ratings.
Yeah.
For everyone. And they have like Priest as a 91. And Braun was what, like 81?
81, 82, I want to say.
And Jacob was like 87 or something like that. I'm like, those ratings are stupid.
Yeah, I mean, they always are. I mean, if you look at the 2K ratings and the Madden ratings.
I don't understand Triple H's love obsession for Priest.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, he's almost like Baron Corbin. He's the corporate guy, company guy, but like.
The only thing, and this is going to sound, bad, but I feel like it's a minority thing with him. I mean, he's the only. I mean, they have a great relationship.
We'll be back after these messages.
And the sound gets cut off. Hey, look, we got viewers now.
But he brings them Bad Bunny.
Right.
He brings them that demographic. That's a demographic.
The Puerto Rican
they've
demographic,
not had
Latino.
in a long time. They've had the Latino demographic
because of Ray.
Because of Ray. And they've been so worried about. That's why they keep pushing Ray, I think, past retirement.
And
it's because they
now
need
having
that
Penta.
Now you have more people coming. You know? And that's where I was going, is where he is more of that cultural grab. Because again, you don't have Rey Mysterio.
He's also old too.
Yeah, he is old. But Penta, I mean, I know he's a great wrestler. I've seen highlights of him. But like a lot of the matches that I've seen on WWE, there's been a lot of the other wrestlers saving him. Camera angles.
Well, yeah, and that's where like I think Jim Ross made the comment of like trying to understand how WWE sees him as that megastar.
Yeah.
When it's like he doesn't have.
I'd rather watch Logan Paul than him.
That's true.
Huh?
Yeah, I would too. I would too.
Just charisma, just character. Yep. Like Logan Paul is that one person where like I would actually throw something at my TV, like like that heel, like true heel,
right.
Like I hate you that much.
Yeah.
So.
And let's see what else happened on SmackDown. So it started out with Jacob Fatu, Cody, and Drew in the ring, and then
I like the whole banter between
Jacob
and Cody.
Oh, okay.
I kind of like that little tit for tat there. Hayden was watching SmackDown and saw Solo. And I was doing something. I turned to the TV, and I swear I was watching the Samuel L. Jackson Shaft movie. That's exactly who Solo looked like the same white turtleneck. Like it's like, wow, Triple H, you can't even get your villains to look different.
The copycatters.
Oh yeah.
No, but I agree. That's to me is like where I would be pushing Jacob way more. He has the it factor. He has the charisma. He has the believability that he is this dominant force.
Yeah.
And so why are you holding him back? He should be the one actually going against Cody at WrestleMania.
Well, you're doing a slow buildup. Like, you have him going against Braun, Strowman. But, like, okay, I want to see Jacob and Braun Breaker. I want to see
Right.
those two freight trains
Go
crush.
at it.
Like, that would be an awesome match. No holds barred, falls count anywhere match.
And that's your future.
Yeah. But they're going to slow build it. And it's, because again, that's that old, long-term promotion.
Forcing the Solo on us where it's like Solo needs to go reinvent his character.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw that last show where he should just go away for a bit. And
now, okay, so again, there's a couple other Fatus out there. But like Zilla's, I mean, his undercard, whatever you want to say, independent circuit right now, that dude's a beast.
Yeah.
Whenever he decides to pull that trigger and make his,
I thought he did sign.
he did, but they're still keeping him. I think right now he's working with Booker T's promotion.
Oh yeah.
And because there's a whole rivalry right now between him and Booker that's going on, and he just had a match with Enzo. I want to say on, I forgot where, not the cruise ship, but I mean, his move, his finisher is a unique one. It's almost like an spear / Samoan spike.
Okay.
Like where it's like an RKO. He can hit it out of anywhere. And that's just, so I would love to see him come. But again, yeah, Jacob Fatu is right now that train that I've kind of hooked my thing to. And then Braun Breaker's the other one. Like,
Yeah. Braun on Raw, Jacob on SmackDown. And that's where it's like, yeah, Jacob can talk. He's what they wanted Solo to be.
yeah.
And he has surpassed it in a short time.
Yes.
And that's where it's now like they're kind of hinting at a feud with him and Solo, probably after Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
That's probably your WrestleMania match that they're going to be booked together against.
You think kickoff show though? Or do you
They have 2 nights now, so it'll be one. It may be the opening match for like night 2 or mid-card match on night 1, but that's why I see where that one's going. What else happened on SmackDown? Yeah, we said before, Naomi defeated Chelsea Green to qualify for that Elimination Chamber spot. And then Nick Aldis got the camera view of, we finally got a view of who was in the area of Jade's attack and showed Liv and
sent by an
Raquel.
anonymous person.
Right.
So right now, the women's elimination chamber is Alexa Bliss, who's now back, Liv Morgan, Bailey, Naomi, and Bianca Belair. So again, you have it right there. You have 2-on-3 or 2-on-1 right there again, and you're gonna have 3 girls going at it for that. It's gonna be a triple threat match because Naomi and Belair are not gonna win it.
No.
And either is Liv.
No, it's like Liv and Raquel. They're going to start like the tag team division, even though they lost this past week. But
Bailey looked okay in the celebrity game for the All-Star game. She didn't look bad. Shorts were a little tight, but
they fit over.
They did.
And then what else? We had the Motor City Machine Guns versus Los Garzas. I think Motor City Machine Guns are following mid-card. They're going into catering pretty soon. LA Knight defeated The Miz to face Shinsuke.
Yep.
Is that Elimination Chamber, I believe. Carmelo versus R-Truth. Carmelo picked up that win. What's funny about R-Truth is he can't name anyone's name correctly. It's like he always calls Triple H, but he has no problem identifying the Uso boys. I don't know if you ever caught that, but he has no problem telling those two apart.
Yeah.
But like everyone else, he gets their names wrong. But
I said, man, he's such a great character.
53, I think.
Damn.
Yeah.
Great shit.
I think, he's 53 and Ray's 50.
And they're both in great shape.
Yeah.
I mean, they both can go for probably another 10 years. But
Then we had the rematch with Nia Jax versus Tiffany Stratton. That ended up in a DQ, where then Trish Stratus came in the ring, where they're going to stop Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus tag team match against Nia versus Candice LeRae, because it's in Toronto.
Yeah. That was a very unique wardrobe for Tiffany.
I like it.
Sure you do. I mean, I definitely think there was a sponsorship on that one, but right around Valentine's Day, you're gonna have that on Valentine's Day. I mean,
Right. Well,
so but yeah, that was. It was very predictable how it was gonna end, but even with Charlotte coming out, like I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Charlotte right now's new gimmick.
I think she thought she was going to get cheered coming back.
Ooh.
And now they're pivoting with the fans turning on her, seeing how it's handed to her again. Even though they did that whole video vignette.
Yeah. No, it's gonna be handed to me.
And sure enough, it was. And I don't want to sound crude or mean, but like she almost looked like a tranny coming to the ring on Friday.
Yeah.
With all the plastic surgery she has, I mean, she looks like the dudes on Tinder.
I don't know
That's
what
fade after ladies.
I don't know what they look like, but congratulations, Tom. Good luck.
I'm gonna take your
Swipe
advice
right.
on that one.
No.
Swipe right. I don't know what to do there.
But yeah, no, she's definitely like, I don't know, like to me, she doesn't look healthy.
No, she lost a lot of weight too.
Yeah,
lost
she's
a lot of
lost
weight.
a lot
I
of
I
weight.
don't know if she's on the same diet as Natalia or the same drug,
Whatever.
Ozempic or whatever that they're doing, but it's like
I mean, there was a time when she got in the ring, like she had to like pull up her pants a little bit. I'm like, whoa,
she has no ass anymore.
like there's nothing to her anymore, and like the whole facial like structure. Like there was a meme that I saw when they were like,
Yeah,
it was
that's
like
hard.
her behind Tiffany, and it's like, oh, what I used to look like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It's the truth. I
Yeah.
mean, Tiffany, I'm not a huge fan of her.
Oh man,
There you are.
she gets a standing ovation whenever I sit down.
Yeah, I'm sure. Something standing. But I see, like going back to her outfit really quick, like I didn't know if they were like
Hi, Mom.
It's just, there it is.
There's
Right on time. Yeah.
She doesn't understand that reference. So
Oh, okay. But it was like you kind of had the old American picnic basket, like picnic blanket material
Yeah.
on her outfit. And it's like, okay, you're in Washington, D.C. Like
It's a little
okay,
fringe.
a little low cut. And I swear there was something plastered on her rear end. Some wording.
Oh,
something.
it was.
And then like it was gone the next time I saw it.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Oh.
And it might have just been a camera angle or whatever. I haven't.
I don't know if it said Stratton. I think it said Stratton.
Okay.
Is there Tiffany or Stratton? It was her name.
Well, I knew he would get it.
Of course.
Should have been my name. But
It started with a T, possibly. Now she's
Put
dating.
Tom's production.
She's dating the dude from Imperial.
Yeah.
That's just a weird power couple.
Well, I wouldn't call it a power couple.
Okay, it's a
It's
weird
something.
couple.
It's going to be a no longer couple.
Mm.
Because now there's rumors like where Logan Paul is hitting on Tiffy.
Logan's married. As
Well, he's married. Well, like, does that matter anymore to people?
Not in that industry.
They all
Well,
sleep around and have affairs left and right.
Charlotte Flair and what's his name?
Andrade
were divorced.
got
Like
divorced,
that. I
like-
love how that got announced. Like
After Royal Rumble?
yeah, after Royal Rumble, right before she made her Raw debut, it's like, oh, they're having divorce issues.
Well, it's like, here's this guy that's been away for what, 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
3 years in a different company, finally like gets released on good terms, comes back to be with his wife, she gets hurt, then 6 months later divorced. But doesn't get reported till after Royal Rumble.
Correct.
And now is he still on SmackDown or do you move him to Raw?
I don't know the whole transfer portal, transfer window, whatever you want.
Transfer portal.
But and then SmackDown ended with Priest versus Strowman versus Fatu, where Priest gets the win, goes to Elimination Chamber, and snooze fest.
Yeah, I mean, again, but you had Jacob and Braun. That was a rematch, and you knew it was going to be what it was. You had,
Well, you knew like Braun had to be in there for someone to take the pin.
you had Solo come out and then kind of do a couple things that caused some interference, which then Cody got called out or brought out. So we'll see.
Oh yeah, so let's get back to the best wrestling of the week. AEW. Have you watched any Dynamite or Grand Slam?
I watched a little bit. Like I said, I was watching kind of the highlights of the Grand Slam. I mean, I thought it was a very The highlights made it look very nice, and I am going to go back this week and watch it. With our recap in mind that we're talking about right now. So,
and that's where it's like if you missed Grand Slam was last night right after the NBA All-Star game on TNT. And it was about their 2-hour show. That's how Raw Netflix should be.
Well, Triple H came out and said Raw has no dedicated time slot,
right?
But they are shooting for 2 hours and 35 minutes.
Yeah, it's like just over 2.5. But I mean, that's where it was 2 hours. They had, I want to say, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 matches in that time. Where Raw, you only had maybe 4,
maybe
if that,
maybe.
And these were long, solid matches. So like last night, it was Osprey and Omega to start it off against Fletcher and
match.
Kashada, and it's whenever Osprey and Omega are on, you want to watch. It doesn't matter really who they're going against.
Yeah,
they're the ones that you want to see, and
that was down in Australia.
It was down in Australia too. Yeah, and for me, with that, I wish they would have done it next week, going against NBA All-Star festivities starting later. I think really hurt them.
Well, it was early in the day for them.
You know what? If I was them, I'd do a replay Monday night.
Yeah.
See what happens.
See what kind of ratings you get.
You throw that on TNT Collision on Monday night at 7:00. See what happens with your ratings.
I didn't think about that. I'm wondering, again, with it being in Australia, I mean, because that is a difference in time. I mean, I want to say it's like a 12-hour difference.
At least, yeah.
So
because I think it started at 2 our time.
Okay.
2 in the morning.
I was getting updates at 2 in the afternoon.
Oh, so it was tape delayed.
So it was tape delayed, yeah.
Oh.
And also in there they had Harley Cameron versus Mercedes Moné. So if those who don't know, this is Harley Cameron right here with the Mercedes Moné puppet. She is a relatively newcomer. She is from Australia, so that's why they kind of built her up for this match on Collision there. She is, I would say, now the perfect example for wrestlers to start modeling after. When the company gives you a gimmick, how to run with it.
Yeah.
Because here it's and knowing what your talents are. So her hidden talents are she can actually play a guitar. She can actually do ventriloquism with the puppet.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you watched any of that on Wednesday or whatnot, but what she does with the puppet, you can even see Renee right here in the picture, she can't keep a straight face while trying to do this because she is a very unique
she's good
talent and good at what she does and hot, but
so
that's always
from this picture.
Yes.
If we look at the hand placement right here, Mamoda, not really that good of a facial expression. I'm just,
but she's smiling. She's trying not to laugh.
Tinder dates here. This is not what you want to do.
That's it.
Swipe right. But I mean, and her, I mean, they had a good, I want to say it was a 20-minute match last night.
But what I like about her is her backstage look and her ring look are 2 different looks.
Yeah.
Here she looks, I'm going to say almost Tiffy-esque.
Diva.
But when she wrestles, she wrestles very, I'm going to say ring attire-esque to almost like a Paige.
Yeah.
To where it's the black, it's leopard, some sort of animal print normally from the highlights that I've seen of her. But yeah, she definitely has charisma for sure.
And that's where it's with her and time with Tony Storm, they are the central lead for the women's division.
Yeah.
Mercedes is she's just there. They gave her the belts to make her happy and kept her with an undefeated record. But their future is Tony and Harley.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's who they got to build around.
And I enjoy, I'm going to say it again until it changes. I enjoy AEW better than the WWE right now. Yeah. I think it's better action. I think it's better wrestling, better storylines.
I don't know about storylines yet.
I mean, because there's not really storylines.
They're correcting stuff.
There's not really storylines in the WWE anymore.
No.
It's whatever corporate.
Yeah.
For me, the biggest thing is it's hard for me to get them on to my radar for the week, just because I'm so used to the WWE lineup. You know, I'm so used to the Monday,
Friday,
Thursday is what I'm really used to.
Yeah.
Even the Friday SmackDown, it's like, oh, okay, that's right. There's wrestling on tonight. Like, but with them being on HBO Max, it's been a little easier to kind of do the recap and kind of rewatch. So like, that is helping them, I think, especially get some of the casual fan in. But I mean, from what I've watched, I've liked the highlights that I did watch. You know, the one match that we were talking about in the green room. You know, the Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega. I thought that was a great match.
Yeah.
And like the match I would say probably was the worst of the night was the Death Riders versus Jay White and Adam Copeland. To me, a Death Rider storyline does nothing.
Yeah.
I'm done with Moxley. Like, I don't care.
Who won that one? I feel so.
Death Riders won. Copeland passed out in the submission hold.
Okay.
And then, like, to me, Copeland is just doing whatever they would have Pepsi Boy do.
Yeah.
He's just a filler. He looks old.
Yeah.
He looks done.
I'm kind of disappointed what they've done though with Jay White. Like, I just feel like him coming from New Japan, like he had that big, you know, he was Bullet Club.
Right.
He was part of that faction that everyone knows in the wrestling industry. And I feel like they should have tried to get more of the members to kind of come over and do.
Well, that's what hurt.
Yeah.
Is not getting them, and then, or they showed up once.
Yeah.
Because they were free agents and then signed and got stuck in catering for 2 years, which we'll get into in a bit. All right, then the other one was Buddy Matthews, who's also from Australia, went against Okada. I mean, both great wrestlers, good match. Buddy lacks, I guess, the talking, promo ability.
Yeah.
Okada, he's got Don Callis. He's becoming like the Japanese version of Ron Simmons, where he says "bitch," which is just funny. And then the main event was Mariah May, who was champion, versus Timeless Tony Storm. Yeah, and Tony Storm from Australia. Everyone kind of predicted that she was going to recapture the women's belt, which she did. Four-time AEW Women's Champion, the most to ever hold it. But
she's timeless.
She's timeless. She's got a great gimmick. She had a gimmick of the year last year, and
she's timeless.
So, you ready, Kent?
No, I've got nothing.
You got nothing?
There's no game this week.
There's no game?
All right, I'll pose the question.
Well, then, hold on. Right. If you're going to pose the question.
You'll pose a question?
Just a second here.
Kent, you got one job every 2 weeks.
Right. I'm trying to figure this out.
Favorite WWE person in NBA All-Star Game activity?
Right.
There's only one.
Miz did it a couple years ago.
Oh, Miz it.
Okay, here we go.
I can hear you with me. Huh?
All right, let's go.
Look at that. He got that nice with the swipe in there. We got the, look at that.
We're getting better.
We would have had it.
I have two jobs now. All right, what's the question?
So the question that I have is, with WWE 2K25 being announced and coming out here soon, if you could put your fantasy GM hat on right now and build a pay-per-view with both AEW and WWE, what would the card look like? And here's the only option that not option, but the only thing you have to go with. It has to be almost an invasion storyline.
Who's invading who?
Well, it has to be AEW versus WWE. It can't be like, oh, let's reunite the Shield that everyone wants to see. That is the.
So you want AEW versus a WWE roster?
Yep. So we'll do.
So kind of what they did at WrestleMania when they got WCW, where
very similar. Yep.
Okay.
So 4 matches. That's where I will pose to you guys.
4 matches.
Huh?
Ooh.
since I wasn't prepared to do a full 2-night event
no.
here.
Wow, we lost 3 viewers from that.
Yeah,
All right.
that shut them down quick. Let's see. Man. What month are we doing this in?
Whatever, you're the fantasy GM.
Well,
Pick your
I
event,
need to know, you know.
pick your venue, pick your location.
Man, that is a good question.
Because I wish what they would do is actually do like a true WrestleMania or a Wrestle Dream.
Yeah.
Where you get some TNA guys, you get some AEW guys and WWE guys. You have like your Joe Hendry with the TNA belt. You have Moxley with the AEW belt, and then you have Cody, let's say, with WWE belt. But then you create the actual world champion belt.
Yeah.
And that belt gets
defended once a year.
and that one could get passed around.
That's what the Euro League champs are
Right. saying
about the NBA. They want to take on the NBA. You know what? I would have man, that's tough. I would have Osprey come in because he's not a champion, right? And I would he'd have to take on like Roman or somebody like that, but he'd have to get the belt. That's the big one. But I mean, watching him, he would run circles around Cody.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I don't even want to see that just because he's just that much better. But it'd have to be, against Roman or somebody like that.
Yeah. What the question got posed to me was, how would you feel if John Moxley and the Death Riders bought tickets to the Elimination Chamber and sat there while you had, per se, Roman and Seth Rollins in the ring? And that's kind of what posed this question.
Yeah, like Chico did on
Nitro.
On Nitro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nash,
all of a sudden just show up like
the Radicals.
Because that would be my triple threat match.
Yeah.
That would be like, all 3 of them.
So would you just want like a group, or do you want head-to-head matches?
No, I mean, it could be, again, like in that scenario, it would be a triple threat match where you would have AEW, John Moxley versus Roman versus Seth going at it.
Because I almost go like almost the Survivor Series route, War Games. Because was it 4-on-4, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or was it 5-on-5?
5-on-5.
5-on-5. I don't remember anymore.
They keep changing.
And that's where it's like, okay, my 5 would be Osprey, Omega, MJF.
Yeah.
And the way I'd have it is have MJF turn on his team.
Ooh.
Just to become the biggest scumbag in the world. Where he costs his team the victory. To further elevate his character.
Yeah.
But then also it doesn't make them look as weak.
Right.
Now, by the way, this is brought to you by the Saudis. So there's no this isn't brought to you by Triple H and WWE.
Because I think you have to have Jericho there.
Yeah.
And you probably, I don't want to have Moxley, but I think you have to have Moxley there.
See, that's where I'd go. That's where I would go with Jericho. I'd have Jericho take Cody out.
Yeah.
And win.
See, I would almost have done Cody versus MJF. And in that match, I would have them two go at it because they've had such a great, Jericho and Cody have had such a great thing. But then the next one up would have been MJF and Cody.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's where maybe Omega versus Pepsi Boy. Because, you won't be able to do the Young Bucks with him.
Yeah.
But
see, but I'd have Jericho just come in like his sweatsuit after a concert or something, not in wrestling gear. Just kick the cowboy shit out of him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like
his boat was late, the cruise was late coming back to port.
That's it.
But I mean, there's a few matches that I could think of, but like that would just be the one where it's like, again, a Survivor Series War Game style too, where it's the 5-on-5 on both sides and it's just a fucking jail cell fight,
Right. Yeah. And I'd play it out too, like if they're sitting in the crowd, like you pan by them fast, but nobody says anything. Like you catch them, like, wait a minute, was that? And then they get up and start kicking ass.
Yeah, that's one of those things. Because right now, that's what everyone like. If you played any of the 2K games, and I know time we've talked about this before, I bought 2K24 last year just to see kind of like what the game was like anymore, and that whole there's like a sub community in that game where you can download created arenas and belts and characters. And I mean, you could pretty much now pick any wrestler you want because someone has made them. And some of them are like, they need some jobs at 2K. Like they're on point. And these are based off tools that are provided from the game, not like me going to the computer and rendering everything. But yeah, it's just one of those things that like even Hayden was just like, all right, I'm gonna take this guy. And I'm like, oh, you could download before Jacob Fatu was there. You could Zilla Fatu, and
they got where you can do like your picture in there. Because I know they were talking about that years ago.
I wouldn't.
But no, like you could take your picture, but it'll scan you for that rest.
It scans you off of your cell phone. It scans you off of
camera from the PS4.
Yeah, it scans you off of that. It's not the greatest. The lighting has to be exact because you'll all of a sudden get like a blue bar across your forehead because of the lens. And then you can't like, and if you try to adjust the skin tone, it's like, all right, cool. I still have like a light blue bar across my forehead.
Yeah. Yeah. That's I got to think about that more, but
because then it's like the women, I'd have like Toni Storm, Mariah May, Harley Cameron. Probably have to bring Mercedes just for that jab at them. Would love Britt Baker back, but she's in the doghouse right now.
Yeah, why is she in the doghouse?
So apparently she got into it with like MJF's girlfriend or something in the locker room, and then the other rumors is like she's been having like a bad attitude.
I mean, she's still a dentist. She's still making decent money.
She's not doing as much though, is what they're saying. So
really,
and her and Adam Cole broke up, and there's rumors that she was cheating on him. And,
well, it is.
It's like the only one that has been like supportive of her has been Jericho. So
yeah,
as long as he's one of the top guys, she'll be fine. But right now they say they have nothing for her, which I don't believe.
Quote unquote.
But,
well, she also made that big stink when they got Mercedes Moné about bringing her over and not taking care of their own. But yeah, that was the my question. And like I said, that's just brought to you by the 2K game coming out, just kind of the ability to do that the fantasy matches and stuff like that. It's kind of fun to do. So
I have not played any of the 2K games. I don't think I've ever played any 2K game. I think the last one I played was like Legends of Wrestling 2 on the Xbox.
There you go.
Thumb wrestling.
Is that what you call it back there?
That's right.
Thumb wrestling?
Pocket pull.
That's it. Thumb wrestling.
Boxers or briefs.
It's like, what is it? Spy Kids or whatever, those giant walking thumbs.
Yeah, you're right.
All right.
Carrying on.
Carry on. So, yeah, we have the Elimination Chamber that is on March 1st.
The first.
In Toronto, Canada. We've already pretty much said the matches that have going on. I don't think there was any other ones that we did not mention yet. But we'll have our post-show after that.
Cena will get in there.
Cena's going to win.
Cena's going to be what, the final case to open, you think? Or do you think does he have the balls to go the full match?
He doesn't. He's not going the full match.
That's his first time back from filming. There's no way.
He will not be.
He'd be one of the last two.
Yeah. He'll come in late like he did in the.
Any predictions for the women?
Yeah. Because who's the.
Because it's Alexis.
Who's the qualifier this week?
I don't know. Is it Raquel and Roxanne? Is that the match?
I think it is. And I think so again, if that is the case, it would be Raquel wins that match. So then it's going to be again Raquel and Liv versus Naomi and Bianca. So it's pretty much going to be Alexa Bliss versus Bailey. And I'm going to say Alexa Bliss is going to win that because I don't know. I don't really see Bailey.
I think Bliss wins because of the crowd reaction she's been getting. And you could also reintroduce the Wyatt Six.
Yeah. With Bo Dallas being injured right now.
Right. And she could be the new leader and that stuff.
Interesting.
Now, my only thing is if you do that, do you run into the problems that they have with the Judgment Day right now where you kind of have who's the leader of the Judgment Day now?
Well, they're saying that they want to get a new leader.
Yeah.
Which more likely, my guess, would be Black. Yeah.
Okay.
will return and he'll be the new leader.
Kick out Liv Morgan and bring.
Kick out Finn.
No, I mean Black will kick out Liv and bring in his.
Selena.
Selena, his wife.
Maybe.
Maybe.
She's not really doing nothing with the LWO.
Alrighty. So then the other thing that's happened this past week is Hall of Fame second announcement on ESPN this week.
I thought it was a good announcement.
Because you had Undertaker and Michelle McCool on ESPN. I don't remember what the show was, but then Triple H popped up to make the announcement. And they're kind of like, what's he doing here? And it was a nice moment for them.
Yeah.
I mean,
she has not aged well.
I don't think she's aged.
No. I mean, she
looks the same.
Like, I guess it's the every time I see her now do modern interviews, her hair's up.
No.
So like she's got the bigger forehead, but also like it just this picture she looks very nice in.
Well, of course, because that's like when she was in her prime.
True. But I just mean like from there till now, she doesn't look the greatest. Like a Trish Stratus who still could be on a poster.
Obviously had enough money for
Plastic surgery.
A good surgeon.
True. No, but I like the way that they announced this. I'm kind of curious with like the rest of the class, how they're going to announce it, or is it just going to be kind of like a...
I think here is our next set of inductees.
You think?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
So it was announced that Demolition has now signed Legends deals. For whatever reason, Vince was upset with them and like would not induct them ever. So now it's sounding like they're getting closer and closer to their due Hall of Fame. And what doesn't make sense with me with Vince was like he made them to be the carbon copies of Legion of Doom Road Warriors.
Right.
They were going to be the WWE version of that, or WWF version of them. And then like once he got like the Road Warriors, he just had them trample Demolition.
Yeah.
So you have Barry Darso, it's Smash, and I'm trying to remember what Axe's real name was. Barry went on to be the Repo Man.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Okay.
He actually replaced the original, I think, Smash, because that guy was too old. So then that's where Axe and Smash came to be, and then they brought in Bryan Adams as Crush to be the third man. He was the younger, bigger guy.
I mean, it would fit. I mean, I've heard some other names kind of get passed around. I've heard the Hardy Boys. I've heard some other ones as well. It wouldn't surprise me because they did sign the Legends deal.
And this is now a time where they can make the most money, because I think the issue with the Hardys would be because they're under TNA contracts and merchandising.
Well, I mean, it's also the thing is where, the whole rule of the Hall of Fame was once you got inducted in there, you were supposed to be kind of maybe one more run, one more year. Right. That's it. Rey Mysterio is the outlier of that. But like Jeff Hardy's announced that he wants to retire in the WWE. He wants to at least one more run, solo or tag team. It hasn't been announced, but which I honestly, I'm a huge Jeff Hardy fan. I would be disappointed if that would happen.
I'll drink to that.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Wow.
Sorry.
It's a low blow, man.
Hey.
But
breathalyzer low blow.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I would
hey, could you come over here and help me start my car?
Yeah, he can definitely help you with that one.
Stick shift.
Right.
But no, supposedly he's been clean for 3 years now.
Yeah.
He just can't stay healthy otherwise. But I mean, from what he did when he was younger, I mean, it doesn't shock me when your body wants to give out.
Right.
You go through a couple. Well, let's see. Do you think he might be the one to break the Netflix table?
I think that's just going to break him.
Right.
So, other stuff that's happened in the last couple weeks, which kind of shocked me, is a bunch of releases. Usually, you get the releases after WrestleMania. Usually within a month after WrestleMania is when you...
Yeah, it's a bunch of people like that.
But here, like, they're actually doing it before.
Yeah.
So the notable names has been the AOP, Authors of Pain with Paul Ellering, Sonya Deville and the Good Brothers, who we talked about earlier, that should have signed with AEW to help Jay White out
Yeah.
Which now
with the
could still
Ball Club,
happen.
which they ended up getting put in like catering for the last 3 years.
Yep.
He had one little run with AJ. And then Cedric Alexander is another one that's not on there, where he'll probably go to AEW and join the Hurt business.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Hurt Syndicate.
Syndicate. Yeah.
Then AEW, I don't know if Tony Khan had a change of heart, but finally let Ricky Starks and Alexander or Malachi Black and Miro, also known as Rusev, released from their contractual obligations, in which Ricky Stark, the first day, went to NXT.
Oh.
And they didn't say his name at all because they are working on what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, he got a great pop. I mean,
Yeah.
at NXT.
Right. Well, what's funny for me with Ricky is where when he first started with WWE in the training, like they will throw him in as either like a security guard or
Yeah.
one of those jobber kind of personnel moves. AEW then goes and gives him a chance. And then for whatever reason, I don't know if it's because he's good friends with Cody and stuff, gets kind of buried in catering. And then instead of trying to perfect and get more screen time at AEW, tries to weasel his way out of the contract to get to WWE.
Yeah. I could see him in the WWE. I could see him kind of in a couple months here being a saving grace on a match or two for Cody
As an ally.
I've Malachi Black, Aleister Black. I loved him. I loved his gimmick. I always have. I've always felt like that's something that the WWE has been missing since The Undertaker. But then you had Bray Wyatt kind of just take off and the Fiend. I think with the Fiend no longer being with us, I think he's going to kind of fall into that role.
Does he replace Bo Dallas and they repackage the Wyatt 6?
I could see that more likely.
Or just redo the Judgment Day properly?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of see. I don't think you could do the Wyatt 6 because to homage to Bray.
Right.
I could see him going into the Judgment Day. You got a mouse playing on the mic? But the one that doesn't make sense, and I mean, I don't know, Rusev, he's going to come back to the WWE because there's really, I mean, maybe TNA I could see him going to.
He started hot in AEW and then they just butchered his storyline and they would have nothing with him for creative.
Yeah, with his ex-wife
Right.
and, well, at the time they were still married, but like that whole gimmick and then it broke up. Like, I don't know. I could see him going to TNA. So, I mean, I could see these two coming to WWE. I see him going to TNA.
Well, he's already there.
Correct.
I could see AOP going to AEW and then like correcting their tag team division with them and what they should have been. Because that's like my issue right now with WWE with their tag team is they have no vision for what they're doing.
Yeah, there's really nothing.
And it's like here you actually had a legitimate tag team that could have been dominant and you just floundered it again.
Yeah.
The Good Brothers
For the second time, right? Because they were
released
before
and
came back. Okay.
And then Sonya Deville, I feel bad for. Like she wasn't released, she just wasn't re-signed.
Yeah.
To her contract. And for her, it's like she always did what they needed her to do. We need you to be a GM. Can you help out Adam Pearce? Yes, absolutely. We need you to build Stark and Baszler. Create a group with them, make them relevant. She did what she could.
And I feel like Baszler kind of got the short end of that stick too, because like I feel like if Ronda didn't leave the company as bad as she was, you would have had I think she just filled that role,
right?
Because she also had the MMA background. You know, she's a bad woman,
right?
I mean, like her actual combat skills are on point. But she was kind of the Wish version of Ronda Rousey.
Well, and it's like she wasn't the same after the Stalker incident.
Yeah.
And I mean, they've done what they could to protect her, but I think AEW will probably grab her and help boost their women's division.
Yeah, their women's division though is pretty.
I would almost give them like their own night.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Or their own show. Be like, here's Friday night, whatever.
Oh, like what WWE tried to do with the pay-per-view. That was all women, and then they did it one time.
Well, I mean, I make them more the focal point of like
Yeah.
either their Wednesday or their Saturday show.
Yeah.
Or Monday. All right.
Manic Monday. I mean,
So then tonight is the debut of 3 shows on A&E. We have LFG, Legends and Future Greats, not Let's Fucking Go, but they did mention that's kind of what it's named after. So in this show, you have Undertaker, Booker T, Mickey James with the helps of Pepsi Boy and Shawn Michaels. Almost like Tough Enough remake.
Tough
I would
Enough
say.
6.0.
Something like that.
Mhm.
Now,
Yeah.
it's a very interesting coaching staff for me. And the reason why I say that is he's got his own promotion.
Right,
Okay. She's married to a GM.
right.
He's the dead man. I mean, he
Right.
can't do no wrong. But he's really high in his podcast.
Right.
And I mean, he's been announced so many times where he would gladly help out the younger generations. He's the only coach that really, I think,
He'll get in your face and
Yeah.
put you in your place.
I mean, the Undertaker, yes. But
Pepsi Boy, if you don't kiss his ass, he's not going to help you at all.
yeah. Sean, realistically, the Undertaker's just there, I think, for name.
Mhm.
And Triple H is still trying to take care of him financially.
Pretty much.
Because I mean, again, you're not going to see Undertaker, and I'll be very shocked on any of these episodes if you see Undertaker show how to hit the ropes correctly and anything like that.
Yeah, that guy can hardly move anymore.
Yeah, I mean, Booker, I could see doing it because, like I said, Booker's still active.
You're probably going to have the back 3 or the middle 3, I would say. Bubba, Mickey, and Booker pretty much doing all the coaching and
Yeah,
other stuff. All the other guys are just more appearances. And
yeah,
pep talk.
yeah.
And then you have Rivals that begins tonight, where it's Stone Cold and Undertaker, I believe, is tonight's show. And then Triple H and Shawn Michaels, who I believe is next week, and the week after is going to be Seth.
Is it only 3 that have been announced?
That's the only one. I cannot find any other information on any of these shows. So tonight, the greatest Raw moments is Raw of the 90s. That's it. I can't find next week's episode.
But I've seen some videos have been leaked of LFG, and I've seen Gunther on some episodes. So yeah, I don't know if so those are the only 3 episodes right now that have been announced.
So looks like our producer's falling asleep over
Man,
there.
I'm tired.
He's ready to go.
It's been a long week.
All right. Final segment is That Doesn't Work For Me, Brother. We finally made it to it. We're on a little bit of overtime.
Well, overtime.
Injury time.
Commercial time. So what doesn't work for you right now?
That doesn't
car?
that doesn't work for me, brother. Right now it's all Cody. Just doesn't work for me, brother. I never thought he had it in the first place.
Right.
But it's that toilet has flushed and it's gone down quick. And he's
a nugget that won't go down.
Yeah. He's that little floater that just keeps popping back up. That it's gotta be Cody. Just doesn't work for me.
Well, it bothers me with Cody is you had the match with KO and you had him kind of, like we said on the last show, kind of do a heel turn, and then he squandered. He came back out. He was superhero Cody. It would have been better for him to have some hesitation to okay, is he going to be the good guy? Is he not? But they still let him come out.
Well, I look back at it, and how are you the American Nightmare? You dress in.
Oh, don't go.
You didn't like his outfit Friday?
Dress in medium 3-piece suits and his Friday attire.
You like that chain watch that he had going on?
Hey, I actually have that same chain watch. I'll wear it next. I'll wear it next
show. I hope you do.
I will, just for you, Kent.
But
then he comes out. But he has 6 wardrobes in the night. They show him coming in the show, and he's on powder blue, and then he's in a different suit during the He has a fancy jacket.
Just doesn't work for me.
And then he comes out running out in a tracksuit. What were you doing? Running a mile back there?
Right. Sitting with the Italians back there, having a cappuccino and
Drew.
Yeah.
What's not working for me right now is just, as Kent kind of said it earlier on the show, is there's really no stories.
Yeah.
Everything has been Like normally at this time during WrestleMania season, you have some storyline you're building it from. Right now, there is none.
Yeah.
They have their matches set.
They have their matches set.
And now they're trying to figure out how to make that match
mean
make
something.
sense.
And again, like I feel like in years past, you kind of had a couple stories with different people you could have went with, and then you build the match out of it. But here, it's like okay, like we kind of talked about who's gonna come out elimination, but like Gunther and Jay, great. It's the third time they've done this.
Ugh.
Again, you're gonna give it to Jay. He's gonna be the one
You're
to
going to have your Yeet Mania.
Yeah, you're gonna have your Yeet Mania. I'm sure there's merch already
60,000
made.
people that are going to be eating.
Yeah, and they're gonna
All
love
at
it
the same time.
all at the same time. Dry clean
won't
Bill's
be
gonna
eating.
go crazy.
I won't be eating.
What about you, Tom?
Oh, for me right now, it's not working. It is how they are treating the secondary titles. The U.S., the Intercontinental for both men's and women's. Like we said before, you had both women that had the belts lose this week in qualifying matches where they shouldn't have even been involved. I think those belts, should always be defended on SmackDown and Raw.
Yeah.
So if you do the men's on one week, then you do the women's the following week.
Yeah.
At least one of those should be defended to keep it interest. And it's almost like the new TV title.
Yeah.
You're fighting for something. You are the Raw guy or the girl or whatever. Because right now, like the SmackDown title, or not SmackDown, US title on SmackDown, the last 4 holders, I think it's less than 10 title defenses total.
Yeah.
LA Knight had the most title defenses. He had like 6 or 7.
That's what's not working for me. I mean, piggybacking off of yours is just title defenses. I mean, like I feel like the titles are only defended on premium live events, not even. Yeah,
Not even. Right.
You know,
Shinsuke's had it now for 78 days, 1 defense.
Yeah, I mean that's got to change. But I've also hated the fact that they did what they did with the titles. Women did not need an Intercontinental title.
Right.
They did not need a U.S.
Title 9. You have to.
But they could have made a different belt.
Yeah, could have made a different.
They could have given them a belt. It could have been the TV belt. It could have been the SmackDown.
Gulf of America belt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you could always rebrand
MAGA
that
belt.
Now they're going MAGA belt.
Mawa, make wrestling great again.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's all the time that we have.
Yeah.
Our show here at Tom's Production Studios. Anything else, Kat?
Hey,
wanna
you
take
know
us
what?
out?
Bunch of great stuff. Tune in 2 weeks from now. We're going to be rocking it back out. What is that? I guess that's the 2nd.
March 2nd. Yeah.
March
the
the
day
2nd.
after Elimination Chamber.
That's it. We'll be talking about those results. But tune in. Give us your thoughts as well. It's okay to give us some comments in there. But again, the most electrifying hour out
right
there. Great. Thanks, Manaka. That's
What's that say? I can't read that.
it says there are cheap viewers on Stream Boo. Stream
nice.
Boo. Remove the space. A little guy trying to get business. So nice. That's not working for me, brother.
And he's our second viewer.
That's it. For all of us here at 216 Creator Studios, we can't thank you enough for tuning in, but come back in a couple weeks. We'll do it all over again.